I think that goes against that's modern. A woman that works outside of the home is a modern woman. Traditional that's just a definition. That's just a definition. A traditional woman would be in the home. You could have some traditional characteristics, but you couldn't qualify yourself as a traditional wife if you are outside of the home the majority of the day. You're working full time. That's a modern woman. You're earning a paycheck. You're bringing that paycheck back to the home. That's a modern woman.
And that's okay. Just,
right. It's okay.
Just realize what that it's not okay for us. Like for our situation, I feel that. But for somebody else that desires that, it's okay. And so our biggest thing is like, it's okay that you make whatever choice you make. What I want you to do though is just understand that choice and the implications that come along with it.
Man, boy. The number one rising entrepreneur in today's day and time is a black woman. Mm-hmm. Ladies are more educated than black men. And it's like,
Are they more enrolled?
No.
No.
They are graduating more than men. Black. I'm speaking of black.
Okay.
You know, so black women are graduating more than men, and they are starting more businesses. Now, they may not be as profitable as men, but they are the number one rising entrepreneur.
Are you referring to boss chicks or?
Yes. Why you gotta say
Wake it up.
She was like, are you referring to like the boss chicks? And I hate that philosophy. Like when I hear a woman say she's a boss chick, and I got something in my eye. If I hear a woman say she's a boss chick, it turns me off because I feel like, it's like, it was a tear.
Yeah, because you talk about boss chicks.
Yeah, man, I'm serious. I'm like, when I hear that, I'm like, yo, if you're a boss chick, does that make me an employee? And I don't want to be no employee in my relationship, you know? And I'm not saying that I'm going to be the boss. I'm going to be the head. Well, in my home, I will be the head of my home. But it will be a partnership head, if that makes sense.
Well, it just speaks to leadership.
Yeah.
So here's something I would, challenge a lot of men on, because a lot of men that gravitate towards, tradition, I'm going to be the head of things of that nature, right? Like that comes with some weight and some responsibility on your shoulders, right? And we might have a natural predisposition toward leadership, but that doesn't mean that we are skilled. We have worked on it to a skilled level of mastery.
Ooh.
Right? So that's something you actively have to work on. You look at I reference Michael Jordan, right? Or Kobe or LeBron, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about, man, they would like LeBron he got some God-given gifts. And sometimes we say stuff like that and we almost forget that it doesn't negate the amount of work he puts in as well.
Right.
So you might have been, as a man, given God-given gifts of being a leader.
Yeah.
But you still got work too.
Yeah.
Right? And so leadership isn't just natural. Like, so we have a deficiency in leadership.
Right.
And so back to the point, good leadership is just not about being a dictator. So when we say stuff like, I'm the head, but it's going to be a partnership. Like, well, if you're a good leader, of course it is. Yeah. What good leader in any company doesn't listen to his advisors? What good leader in any, sports team doesn't inspire the people and take the input from, this is what I'm seeing. This is what, so that's just not good leadership.
So I know some people watching right now. Well, if she doesn't work, then that means that she has to report back to her husband. She got to ask her husband, can she do this? Can she do that? Is that the case in a traditional situation?
So when we have alignment, we have established that we have the same worldviews, we have the same philosophies, we have the same visions. Doesn't mean we're identical, right?
Yeah.
But on the things that matter, like the fundamental things that matter, we're so aligned. Where she could be asking me that we're not going to be aligned on? Like, she doesn't have to.
Does she have access to the account?
Yeah,
she can go buy whatever she wants.
Mm-hmm.
She. So,
she was like,
but then this goes back to the alignment. So I know what the bigger vision and the bigger goal is. And so I'm not going to be out here recklessly spending money.
Okay.
And so if it's something that is out of the ordinary, like, okay, the kids need this or whatever. I said, James, the kids need this or whatever. And he'll say, well, how much is it? And I'll say, it's this much. And he'll say, okay, get it. So, we have that when it's something out of the normal.
Right.
But groceries, buying kids this or that, school supplies. I just went and bought some school supplies for my son's science class.
Right.
So doing all of that kind of stuff, that's just a regular occurrence, regular day.
But what if you want a Louis Vuitton purse?
Then he'd get it.
She
Then I say,
and it would be a
"Hey,
conversation.
This is what I want.
So it would be a conversation. But so here's
And
the
I
thing.
mean, I'm into Gucci, not Louis. But
Oh, you're in the Gucci.
Yeah.
So if you want the Gucci bag, it's like okay, let's have a conversation. Are you asking
Well, she's
for
going to tell
permission?
me. She's going.
Is she asking for permission, or is she going to tell you this is what I want? And is it your job to be like yes or no, or is it like, all right, let's just talk about it?
So I love that question because I think that's what a lot of women hear and that's
Absolutely.
afraid of. Right?
That's what I'm asking.
I got my own money. I got my own money, my own bag. Right?
Exactly.
Right.
That's why they want to be like, I want to go work.
And you're not going to tell me I can't go get this. My wife's not asking me for permission
Right.
to go spend money. Whenever, and she, frequently will ask me, hey, babe, I want to do this. And that comes across, people think she's asking for permission. She's not asking for permission. As a steward of our finances, she's asking the availability.
Ooh,
Right?
Say that again. Say that again.
As a steward of our finances, she just asking the availability. I was like, hey, I'm asking. She's not in the dark, right? I used to work. When I had a job, I used to work in a credit union, and I had elderly women call in, and it was a deceased account. Their husband was deceased, and it was terrifying because it was evident that this woman did not know anything about finances. That's not my wife, right? Marga's got a master's degree. I don't.
Right.
She had straight A's in grad school. I didn't go.
Okay.
She graduated undergrad cum laude. I was thank you, laude, right? So my wife is brilliant. So my wife knows how to,
Yeah.
manage finance. So I wouldn't put her in that position where if something were to happen to me, she, I'm lost. I don't even know how to log in to pay the light bill. Like that's not her. But that is my role.
Right.
Equal importance, not equal roles. My role is to manage the finances. So she understands the big picture, but if it's something outside of norm, she wants, hey, is this available? Is this not budget right now? And real talk, most men want to be heroes for their woman.
Absolutely.
I want to be that guy. So
Absolutely.
if she's telling me, hey, babe, I want Gucci, so she got a Gucci bag for her birthday, right?
Okay.
Right? Like she told me. And she was putting a request in, if you will, right? She was asking, hey, but she was just letting it know. What loving man doesn't want to be able to do that
So
for his wife?
what about you? Can you come home with a Gucci backpack without having a conversation with your wife, with you being the breadwinner?
I can. That's not really something that plays out. I mean, I have the ability to do that. I have the power to do it. But again, and just good leadership and as a good team member, that's just even foreign that I would would even do something like. There's no surprises in a healthy relationship. There's really no big surprises.
There should be no big surprises.
There's no big surprise. Like I'm not just gonna maybe let's say for instance I did come home with something right that I've been wanting or whatever. We've been talking. She's already kind of know. I might not have said specifically when I was going to get. I might have been an impulse in that moment that was planned out, a planned impulse, if you will. Like I've been talking about it. It was like today's that. Like you know what? I'm out. Let me just go ahead and cop this real quick.
Yeah.
When I come home, she's not gonna be floored. Like what? What is it? I've been talking about. Like you already know. Yeah. And if I'm making that decision, clearly the availability is there.
I like that because I'm like I don't know if I want to surprise my wife. Because I want her to feel like this is a teammate thing if I am the only one working. Because see, my philosophy is, I don't know if I'm traditional or modern. You know what I'm saying? I feel as if when I find my spouse, I'm like, baby girl, what you want to do? Do you want to work? And if you want to work, I want you to be like, no, this is what I really want to do. And then if you don't, cool, great. I really want to stay home.
I think you have to define that.
Okay, well, walk me through that. What you mean define that?
Because what do you want your family to look like? Do you want your children in school? Do you want them homeschooled?
I don't think I can make that judgment call by myself though, right?
You can. You can design what do you want it to look like? Because if you don't design it now, how do you know what type of wife you should look for? There's a woman out there that's looking for whatever she wants in a spouse. You should know, okay, this is what I'm looking for. I do want a tradition. I do value having our kids at home and having them homeschooled by my wife or having somebody come in and homeschool them, being able to control their curriculum, their development, what they're learning, especially when they're younger. I do value that. And if you think about it, even if you said, okay, my kids are going to go to private school, public school, whatever, when they turn 5, then you got to look at the scope of how many kids do we want? Do we want 2 kids? Do we want 3 kids? Do we want them spaced out? Because if you space these kids 4 or 5 years apart and you have 3 kids, you're looking at your wife being at home for the first 5 years of their life, you're looking at 15 years.
Right.
So it's like that's why we came up with marriage by design, so that you can design what your marriage looks like. We're not saying one way, right? We're not saying one way is better or one way is worse. We tend to think the traditional way is a more encompassing way where everybody wins. The children win, mom wins, dad wins, and we're not splitting our focus several different ways. But if someone is, 35, 36, 37, 38, they're like, okay, we only want one child. We don't want kids at all. Then that looks different than James and I getting married in our early 20s. Well, I was mid 20s, getting married early on and designing it from there, knowing, okay, we want children. We want to homeschool. So before we even came up with marriage by design, we knew what we wanted our marriage to look like. So that's our biggest thing. And going back to what you had said about the boss chick thing, two different things about the boss chick thing, one or two different ways. I'm going to touch some toes. I'm going to step on them with the boss chicks. One or two things. I think there is an innate motherly, I want to have kids. After you reach over a certain age and you got set, you got all the education, you got all the degrees, you begin to realize I might not have an opportunity to have these different things, to get a husband or to have children, and you become that boss chick because that's what I have to give. The other way is you have these younger women that become the boss chicks out of default because they're being raised by boss chicks. They're being raised by boss chick grandmas, boss chick mamas, and they're being raised by these women because a lot of times they've been hurt by men. And so when being hurt by men,
let down by men.